Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this video this series. I'm gonna be continuing a chat at the mall by blue_obsidian, and we're gonna be reading, or I'm gonna be reading, the second chapter. So I hope y'all enjoy. Let's get right into it. Chapter 2: Summer Training Camp Fun. It had been 3 days since Izuku's encounter with Shigaraki at the mall. 3 days. He should have been over it by now, forgotten it, and moved on with his life, preparing himself for the training camp like everyone else. Aizawa-sensei would not go easy on them. This was a fact. Which is exactly why Izuku needed to prepare himself instead of laying down in his bed and thinking about it like he was doing it right now. He didn't know why he couldn't get it out of his head. He managed to bounce back from the USJ incident quickly, so why couldn't he now? I think I like you, Izuku Midoriya. That kept repeating over and over in his head with great clarity. He thought about what Shigaraki could mean by that, and what he could be planning. There was no way Shigaraki would have decided to approach Midoriya if he hadn't had a plan in mind for something. At least that was what Izuku told himself. When he finally managed to lull himself to sleep, he was starting to get insomnia, likely due to the encounter with Shigaraki. He woke up earlier than he normally would. 6:45 a.m. He got up out of his bed and walked to the kitchen. It was fairly dark outside, with the sun only just starting to rise. He took a mug out of the cabinet and started to make coffee. Not for him, but for his mom. When he was younger and woke up early more often, sometimes his mom would also be awake, getting ready to go to work. She was always tired, so Izuku, being the kind-hearted person he is, looked up how to make coffee on the internet. Nowadays, he wakes up a lot later, around 7, but he still makes coffee for for his mother. It's the least he can do for her, since it's hard being a single mom. When the coffee was finished brewing, he took some creams and sugar and stirred around. He had found out, through much trial and error, that his mother liked sugary coffee. He stirred the coffee robotically. He was still tired and tended to zone out as he thought about the training camp, which he realized they would be going to today. His mind wandered back to the encounter from the mall, much to his ever-growing displeasure. He couldn't get his mind off it, no matter how hard he tried. In classes, at home, with his friend, his mind always wandered back to Shigaraki. In a fit of frustration, he accidentally activated One for All, full cowling, almost breaking the mug. He quickly calmed down after that. He picked up the coffee and glanced back at the clock. It was 7:01 a.m. now. His mother would probably be up, or at least waking up by now. He carefully walked through the house to his mother's room, purposely slowing his movements so he wouldn't make too much noise, with his feet thumping against the wooden floor. He peeked through the door to his mother's room. It was dark, but his eyes had long adjusted to the darkness by now. "Mom?" he asked quietly. Silence then. "Izuku, what are you doing up this early, honey?" He smiled slightly and entered the room quietly. "I brought you some coffee," he said, placing it down on the nightstand beside her. "Just the way you like it." He could practically hear his mother's smile. "Thank you, sweetie." "No problem. Oh, good morning, by the way." He heard his mother soft chuckling. "Good morning, Izuku. Go get dressed." "Yes, ma'am," he responded dutifully, rushing out of the room to his own. He quickly dove through his wardrobe, digging out his uniform and tugging it on. He tied his tie incoherently, but not that he knew that. Incorrectly, not that he knew that, and rushed to the bathroom to brush his teeth and hair. After doing all of his morning duties, he glanced at the clock again. 7:45 a.m. He had about 40 more minutes, which was plenty of time. He realized he had forgotten to eat some breakfast. So after rushing to the kitchen where his mom was, he saw a plate of eggs and toast waiting for him. "Here you go, honey," his mom said, smiling. "Thank you, Mom," he said quickly, scarfing down his breakfast, though the taste was slightly tainted by the residue of toothpaste in his mouth. After rushing back to the bathroom to brush his teeth again, he quickly slipped his socks and shoes on. 8:03 a.m. He quickly packed his backpack with everything he needed, including HA, Hero Analysis Notebook 14, and the new one since he could no longer write in 13 since Kachan had burned most of the blank pages. His mother had also scolded him about keeping 13 since she said he didn't know what kind of dirt it could be carrying, or something like that. 8:10 a.m. He had 15 more minutes, which wasn't that bad, since for him UA was a 10-minute walk, so he would be 5 minutes early if it all went according to plan. "Bye, Mom." "Bye, sweetie. Have a nice day." As he walked along his usual path, he heard a, "Hey, Deku." He froze. That was not one of his friends. He turned around to see his old bullies from Aldera. They were grinning at him, but not in a mocking, smug way, more in the "hey, it's nice to see you again" way, which was unusual. "Great job on getting into UA. That was a crazy powerful quirk in the sports festival you had." "Wait, what?" "Yeah, it was so cool." Why were they acting so weird? "Hey, do you think after school we could hang out?" What was going on? At Aldera, they all mocked his dream, calling him pathetic and weak. What's going on? Oh, that's when he finally understood what was going on. They were being friendly to him because of his quirk. Now that he had a strong quirk, he was worth something. Now that he was in the greatest hero school, with a great quirk, they were trying to win points for him, like they did with Kachan. Well, he wasn't going to let them do that. They didn't get to bully him for 10 years and then walk up to him and act like nothing was wrong. Well, it's going to be pretty awkward if you do that now. I mean, you did bully me for 10 years and leave scars on me, and then did nothing when Kachan told me to kill myself. Besides, we aren't friends. And with that, he turned around, not bothering to look back to see their expressions, and then ran the rest of the way to UA. Useless, weak, worthless, pathetic, Deku, childish, idiot. Deku, shut up, Deku. Stop crying, Deku. You can't be a hero. Be realistic, Deku. Midoriya. Ida's voice broke him out of his spiraling thoughts. He looked back to see Midoriya waving at him, Ida waving at him, with Uraka beside him, waiting for Izuku. "Come on, Deku. Class is gonna start in 3 minutes." 3 minutes? Izuku guessed his old bullies from Aldera had slowed him down longer than he had expected. "Oh, coming." He quickly ran inside, with the two following his lead. "Thanks for waiting for me." "No problem," Uraka replied, smiling cheerfully at him. So, recap. After everyone had gotten on the bus, Aizawa-sensei had taken the class to a supposed rest stop after about 15 minutes of riding. In reality, it was the training camp. Now they had to fight these giant earth monsters to get to the camp at the base of the mountain. If they didn't get there by 12:30, they wouldn't get any lunch. Yeah, Izuku was not letting that happen. Everyone was going to be very tired after this exercise, so they had to go through this forest if they wanted time to replenish and rest. With everyone working together, Izuku estimated they would be there about 5:30. That wasn't going to work. Izuku looked around. Everyone was working together to help fight these things, but they weren't progressing. They were staying in one area while fighting of the monsters around them. They were spread out, which wasn't going to work. Everyone, he shouted loud enough to get their attention. We aren't progressing at all. We need to get through this forest. We should stay in a tight group and fight off the monsters while we're moving ahead. Midoriya's right, Yorosa said almost amongst the cows. We aren't processing at all. We need to move efficiently if we want to get through the woods. With that, everyone quickly changed their tactics. They all shoved together, forming a tight group. Sanas, Bakugo, who was being restrained by Kirishima, claiming he didn't need any help, and that they were all in the way, and moved forward. Izuku, Tokuyami, Todoroki, Ida, and Sota were at the front. Using full cowling at its limit, 8%, Izuku managed to quickly smash through the monsters with the help from his friends. While Kaminori, Yarozo, Ashido, Orakatsu, and Ayama stayed at the back to fight any monsters that would come at them from behind. Then, finally, they saw the clearing where the wild pussycats were. Everyone lined up out of the forest, exhausted. Izuku's muscles ached as he used full cowling at its limits countless times. He was also sporting a broken arm. Having gone over his limit accidentally once, he wanted to collapse on the floor, sleep right there. Wow! Mendeley's voice called out. You managed to get here at 2:45. We thought it would take you a lot longer than that. Damn it, Izuku thought. They hadn't managed to get there on time. Pixie Bob crackled. We timed it based on how long it would take us. Sorry about that. You all did very well, especially you. In the split second, she was right in front of Midoriya in his face. You were the one who organized everyone, yeah? He nodded. She seemed to be dancing on her toes. The confirmation. She was saying something else, but Izuku couldn't hear her. His ears were ringing now, and the world seemed to be shaking. The adrenaline from before was wearing off. His muscles ached, and his arm hurt. He just wanted to lay down and rest, and he blacked out. Is he okay? Uraraka said what everyone in Class 1A was thinking, as Midoriya fell backwards, falling into unconsciousness before hitting the ground. He's fine, Pixie Bob assured before taking a long glance at the boy's broken, bloodied-up arm. For the most part, anyway. He fought most of the dirty monsters and did the most damage. He's just very exhausted. Uraraka let out a sigh of relief. We'll take care of Midoriya. Recovery Girl can come over here to fix his arm. In the meanwhile, you all can go inside to eat. Aizawa instructed. Shigaraki looked around in his bar, seeing everyone gathered up. He smiled. He had some elite criminals in his party this time, with unique and dangerous quirks. As he relayed the plans to everyone involved, he absentmindedly thought about his encounter with Midoriya at the mall 3 days ago. The hero brat had not responded in the way Shigaraki expected him to. However, he didn't have time to dwell on that now. You have 2 targets, he explained. He held up a picture of Katsuki Bakugo. This is Bakugo Katsuki, winner of the UA Sports Festival. He could be a great addition to our little party. Seeing such as promising students leave that idiotic hero school will deal a great blow to UA's popularity and support along with the heroes. Try to bring him unharmed, but don't be afraid to use force. Don't go overboard though. He shot an accusing glare to Muscular, who just scoffed. Looks like an asshole, Dabi stated bluntly. He probably is, Shigaraki admitted. He held up a photo of Midoriya. This is Izuku Midoriya, your second target. He's the number one on my no-kill list. You are to bring him unharmed as with Bakugo. But believe me when I say he will be much harder to capture than Bakugo. What's so special about him? Magna asked. Stain feels the kid is a real hero, amongst all the fakes. Why take him? Spinner added on. I also believe he could make a good addition to our cause. He might not look like it, but I assure you we could convince him. Probably, hopefully. The brightest smiles can hide the darkest hearts, Compress agreed. Now, Vanguard Action Squad, head out, he ordered, and watched as Kurogiri wrapped them all way to their destination. When he woke up, Izuku's head throbbed with pain. Oh, good, you're up. He looked over to see the voice belonged to him, and saw Mendeley standing in the doorway holding what looked like food tray. You okay? He nodded numbly. He had noticed that the pain from his arm earlier was gone, and looked over to see it perfectly healed, like the work of a recovery girl. If he had to guess, but she didn't ride the bus with them. Erase had wanted to wake you up along with everyone else, but Recovery Girl said that he needed complete rest to make a full recovery. She walked over to him and set the tray down next to him. You missed dinner and you need food to help your energy back. Once you're finished, Eraserhead wants you to come out to join the rest of the class. I have a feeling he'll probably be a little grumpy with you, so watch out for that. She smiled kindly before standing up and walking out the room, leaving Izuku to his own devices. Numbly, he took the tray with both his hands. Stupid. Aizawa's sensei had told him to get a better handle on his quirk, but he just had to go over his limit and inconvenience his teacher by making him give Izuku special treatment, all because Izuku was stupid and didn't control his quirk better. He quickly finished up his food and put on his uniform. When he exited the lodge, he came face to face with Aizawa-sensei. Midoriya, he said sharply. Izuku looked down guiltily. Yes, sir? You went over your limits again, he accused. Izuku tensed his shoulders. Yes, I did, he admitted. Try not to do that next time, was all he said, and Izuku looked at him in shock. Tiger is waiting for you at the training camp along with Class B. Don't keep him waiting any longer. Yes, sir. He quickly dashed towards the direction pointed to him, found himself in the training grounds. Kacchan was making huge explosion. Todoroki was changing between ice and fire rapidly. Zero was dispensing tape from his elbows nonstop. Uraka was rolling around the large plastic bubble. Ito was running all over the place. Soda and Yaoyorozu were both eating while using their quirk. Kaminari was hooked up to a device that was presumably helping him withstand his electricity. Didn't know where Tokuyami was. Hakura and Shoji were both doing what looked like stealth sense training. Kirishima and Oji were both sparring, presumably to enhance their quirk. Aoyama was using naval laser over and over again. Kodo was doing vocal training. Tsu was doing what looked like training her muscles. Jiro was honoring her earphone jacks, and Ashido was rapidly using acid. Oh no, it looked like hell. You! A loud male voice shouted. Izuku turned around and saw Tiger, the YYP, looking at him fiercely. You're supposed to be over here. Come on, I've been waiting for you. Oh boy. Izuku's muscles were sore. Again, he'd spent all day working on Alpha 1, with Tiger pushing him over his limits. On the bright side, though he could now use all for one at 9%. That was improvement. He sighed. They would be making their own food for the rest of the trip. They were instructed to make curry by Dragedal. Just because you're exhausted doesn't mean you get to make sloppy kitten food, she mocked, laughing so hard her tears fell from her eyes. Everyone got to work lighting a fire to make their food. Todoroki actually came over to help Izuku when he couldn't light his own fire. "Oh, thank you, Todoroki," he said, smiling. If he looked closely, he could see the barest of smiles on Todoroki's face too. "Geez, Momo," Ashido said, as they all watched Yarozu scarf down her food. "You're demolishing that food." Yarozu looked slightly embarrassed. "Yes, my quirk transforms lipids into brand new atoms. So the more I eat, the more I can create." Midoriya perked up at that. "Oh, do you think Todoroki's eyes work similar to that?" Everyone looked at him with confusion. Embarrassed, he elaborated. "Well, if Yarozu needs to eat for a quirk, would Todoroki need to drink more water since water turns into ice?" Todoroki hummed thoughtfully. "I've never thought about that, but now that you mention it, I do end up being more thirsty when using copious amounts of ice." Todoroki and Yarozu both eventually fell into the discussion of how to manage their bodies to better suit their quirks, and Midoriya preened a little when Yarozu complimented him on his smart thinking. Everyone was lined up for the test of courage now. It was nighttime, the perfect time to do something like this. Class B were the scares right now, while Class A were walking through the forest trying not to get scared. Pixie Boo handed out everyone's team numbers, and he got number 9. With 20 students in class, with 5 people in decimal in class, left 15 students. And odd number, so someone was alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He was alone, of course. Something twisted in his gut. Something unpleasant. They were randomly assigned, so it's not like no one chose him. So why did it feel like he was back in middle school? Back where everyone picked on him, mocked him, pitied him, drove any nice people away from him, and threats and gossip. He unconsciously started to rub his shoulder where Kacchan had burned him the same day he told him to jump off a roof. He had so many scars, they overlapped with each other. Starburst-shaped burn scars. He snapped out of his trance when he smelled smoke. He sniffed again, smelling the scent of burning trees. He squinted, and in distance he saw blue fire. His eyes widened. "We're under attack. Villains are here." He whipped around to tell Manday, but he saw nothing but trees and bushes. In his mushing, he had wandered off. In his increasing panic, he didn't see the pair of electric blue eyes trained on him. Dabi looked at the green-haired kid before him. He took a communicator given him by Shigaraki and contacted Compress. "I found the kid," he rasped. "That was quick," Compress mused. "Which one?" "Green hair, Midoriya." "All right, I'm on my way. If he doesn't already know, don't alert him of your presence." "Got it," he responded and kept his eyes trained on the teen. Everything was blue. Then it wasn't. As if he blinked into existence, Izuku found himself bound to a chair. He was in the forest minutes ago. What happened? He looked around and saw Kacchan next to him, also tied up. He began to piece together very quickly what was wrong here. "Hello, Izuku, Midoriya, and Katsuki Bakugo," Shigaraki said, catching their attention. "How nice to see you two again." Okay, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sorry if this wasn't very good, and I'm sorry for the weird thingy I do. I wanted to cut it out, but I forgot where it happened. I'm not ready to listen to my voice for like 20 minutes. I'm really sorry. I hope you can still enjoy this. Yeah, goodbye and see you next week.